Hey everybody, B Temple here again. We're going to move on with our next ration review today. And the one that we've got up on tap for you today is a Humanitarian Daily Ration. This Humanitarian Daily Ration, otherwise known as an HDR, is, as you can see by the flag, an American ration. The primary use of this ration is for some sort of humanitarian aid that is necessary anywhere around the world. These rations have been used since the 1990s. They have been used especially in places like Bosnia, Kosovo, Afghanistan, and Iraq. And I'm sure they've been used in various other regions around the world. The primary use of these rations is to help a human being have enough, daily caloric content to sustain them for a full 24-hour period. There's about 2,200, 2,300 calories in this ration, and as we'll see when we get into it, it's just a mix of what we would say is retort pouch entrees, like you would find in standard US MREs, and then a bunch of random accessories and sides and snacks and things of that nature. One interesting point to make about humanitarian daily rations is that they do not contain any meat products. I guess the main reasoning behind this would be depending on where these rations have to be dropped in order to give aid to a certain population of people. If there's no meat in the rations, then hopefully you will not offend any varying religious groups on what their dietary restrictions may be, depending on if they're Muslim, Jewish, Buddhist, Hindu, Sikh, any religious group that may have a dietary restriction. So they don't have meat in these. You'll notice that the HDR has what you would appear to seem like a sort of salmon hue to the package. That is a fairly recent addition to the HDR. Originally, HDRs were packaged in a sort of bright canary yellow sort of package, but it was found during the Afghanistan war that these HDRs were eerily similar to American cluster bomb ordnance that was left around unexploded. And refugees, people that were in need of these rations, were a little bit hesitant to pick up the packages, fearing that perhaps they may be either booby traps or they were actually unexploded cluster bombs, and nobody wants to unnecessarily lose an arm or a hand or a foot or anything like that in order to, get some food. So the American Armed Forces, in their wisdom, changed the color of the outside of the packaging in order to have something a little more conspicuous, but at the same time not resembling any sort of possible ordnance that you may find lying around in a war zone. As you can see here, this is menu number 5. There are 5 separate menus of HDRs. All 3 major manufacturers who make United States MREs also make humanitarian daily rations. So we have Warnick, Supaco, and Ameriqual. Basically, these come in a case of 10, and there would then be 2 of each menu in the case. And then the only really real way to tell the manufacturer is either the way that the symbols look on the front and what the inner contents could be. Each manufacturer is then either given the designation of A, B, or C. I'm of the belief that this is Ameriqual, which would then make it a C package. So this would be 5C. Another way to tell this is possibly Ameriqual is the fact that you have this continuous line of logos. The others, Warnick and Supaco, seem to have just one singular larger logo in the center of the package. So yeah, what we're going to do now is take a look inside. I wanted to check the inside of this first when I first received it to make sure nothing was was broken or sort of leaking out, anything like that. But everything appeared to be okay. And once I looked inside, I realized that this was obviously an Ameriqual HDR, because Ameriqual is the only company out of the three who does this inner package instead of having all the items, all the components loose inside the packaging. So that's just one way to help identify it. And the outside of the package does actually have a date code. So get that to zoom a little better. We've got a 0130, so this was manufactured on the 130th day of 2010. So we've got an HDR here that's almost 7 years old, so hopefully the items inside are going to be in good shape. So first off, let's tear this open and see what we're working with here. So first off, we have a packet of peanut butter. As you will notice, as opposed to American MRE items, which are usually in that sort of brown, tan kind of packaging, this is in silver with blue lettering. So I guess to differentiate it between actual military MRE components. So we have a packet of peanut butter. We have your standard MRE spoon. We've got a packet of what they call HDR crackers, which I assume are going to be fairly similar to just regular MRE crackers. Got just a random piece of cardboard here, which basically tells people to tear open and then enjoy. So this is a food gift from the people of the United States of America. Next up, we've got a pack of HDR raisins. These still feel like they're in pretty good shape. There's no like one large mass like you might find in a ration cold weather nut raisin mix, something like that. They feel like they've not dried out or anything like that, so hopefully that's a good sign. We've got just a standard accessory pack, which is very vacuum sealed, as you can see. We'll tear open this just to have a look at what's inside. And we've got just your standard pack of matches. Got a little sachet of sugar. Moist towelette. Some iodized salt. And a packet of ground red pepper. And all of these accessory items look exactly the same as standard MRE accessories that you would find in any American ration from that date range. The matches these days do look a little different, but everything else appears to be the same. Next, we've got a packet of fig bars, and these are a little bit, how shall I say, hard or dense in their feeling right now, but I'm going to assume that these are somewhat similar to a fig Newton, something along those lines. And we've got ourselves another packet of HDR crackers. So remember, this is supposed to be 24 hours worth of food, so they're going to give you a second pack of crackers to go along, I guess, with one for each entree. And then we've also got an oatmeal cookie. Usually some of the reviews I've seen of other HDRs have either shortbread cookies or I guess Pop-Tarts, the best way to describe it, you know, a toaster pastry. So this is the first time I think I've seen an oatmeal cookie in one of them. Feels like it's in pretty good shape. It actually feels like it's in one piece, so that may be a good thing. But we'll find out when we tear it open. And then we've got our two entrees. So our first entree is just beans with potatoes. Remember, none of these HDRs have any meat, so they're all meant to be vegetarian. And we've just got your sort of standard ingredients here: water, red beans, maltodextrin, soybean oil, tomato paste, sugar, potatoes, things like that. In order to get the calorie content up, I assume they use a little bit more higher fat content oil in these, and just use a little bit more oil to make sure the calories are high, because for a 255 gram pouch you actually are getting 560 calories and 16 grams of fat. So it's a fairly high number for a what is ostensibly a MRE entree. And the other one we have here is a lentils and vegetables. I'm a big fan of lentils, so I'm looking forward especially to this one just to see what it's like. As we can see here, we've got 500 and it's either 60 or 80 calories, but I'm gonna err on the side of thinking it's 560 and 15 grams of fat. Interestingly enough, 11 grams of fiber. Usually MRE components are not well known for having a high fiber content, but it appears that these HDRs are actually pretty good. Even the beans or potatoes has 5. So you've got 16 grams of fiber just there in the 2 entrees. So I'm going to go open up the entrees first, I guess, just to get the pouches out, because we're going to have to heat those up, of course. Interestingly enough, these HDRs do not come with a flameless ration heater, an FRH of any kind, so we're going to have to, I guess, boil some water and pop these into the pot. Or, I guess the other way they look at it is you can just sort of eat these as they are out of the pouch. But I prefer to try them warm. I'm sure the taste will be a little bit better if they're warm as well. So we've got our 2 pouches. As you can see on the inside, they look just like MRE retort pouches. So we're going to go get these over in some boiling water, and then we're going to plate the rest of everything up. Alright guys, now we've got everything laid out on the plate. We're just waiting for the 2 entrees to finish heating up. While we're doing that, I guess we'll just take a little run around the tray and get everything going. Just have our little packet of red pepper to try out if need be. First we'll just get our spoon ready. One thing you may notice, I thought was interesting as well, there's absolutely no drinks of any kind whatsoever in this HDR. No beverage base powder, no cocoa powder, no coffee, nothing along those lines for anything to drink. So I just happen to have a glass of water on standby if need be. And yeah, so first off, let's get our raisins opened up. Got ourselves a little tear notch here on the side. And for 7-year-old raisins, those look absolutely perfect. I'd be remiss if I didn't say a big shout out to Old Smoky, who's a fellow MRE ration reviewer here on YouTube. Old Smoky hooked me up with this HDR and another one as well, a Menu 1, I believe it is. So we'll hopefully get to that one at a later date. But he assured me that these HDRs have been stored in a fairly good way, and they shouldn't have gotten too hot or anything like that. So they should be in good shape. We're gonna hope that's the case. Next, let's get the HDRs, the fig bars, opened up. Get a little look inside. Now, for anyone who's had a ration cold weather before, these will look very very interesting. This is had been compacted at some point over time, and you can even see here on the outside edge of the fig bar, all the sugars have begun to crystallize along the edge. So it's still got a fair bit of moisture to it, which is good. It seems like it's still pliable, as you can see. So I'll be interested to see how the taste of that comes out. Let's get the oatmeal cookie opened up next. And just look at that. One solid piece. It's a little hard. I don't know if you could notice that from the sound of the clanging, but yeah, it's a fairly hard and dense oatmeal cookie. It does have a nice smell to it. Almost smells like there's some molasses in there. I could be wrong, but it does have that kind of smell to it. And as you can see, it's a fairly high caloric content. Of course, this silver foil is horrible for trying to read. So yeah, you got 210 calories and 7 grams of fat in this one cookie, which compared to other USMRE cookies is actually not that bad. Usually their fat content is through the roof. Now we've got 2 packets of crackers here. I'm probably going to forego opening both of them. Just keep one off to the side because they really only gave us 1 spread and 2 entrees. So we'll just open up 1 packet of crackers just to see how they're doing and try them out. See if we got a good vacuum hiss here. I couldn't get any discernible hiss there, but it did seem like there was a good tight vacuum seal. I guess we'll tell now once we get these out. Give them a smell, give them a taste. One good way to tell if MRE crackers, which basically these are, have gone bad, is if they've got a little bit of a bleachy kind of scent to them. So let's give that a try first. Yeah, it's just starting, just teetering on the edge of having a bleachy kind of smell. So we'll see how that translates taste-wise later. Let's just knead up our peanut butter a little bit, and then we'll get some of this out onto a cracker. I can never get these to tear properly for me. And as you can see, the packaging here rolled over a little bit. We're going to try something else. All right. Finally got that opened up. That was, I think, the hardest time I've ever had trying to get a packet of, MRE peanut butter opened. So hopefully that's all that hard work is going to be rewarded. Let's just get a little bit out on here. Doing a really horrible job with that. Okay, we've got the peanut butter already out. Just had a little bit more trouble with that than usual, but I guess that'll be okay. Lastly, the entrees are finally heated up now entirely. So just had them boiling for 5 or 10 minutes. First, let's get the beans and potatoes out. Looks like a nice sizable portion. And lastly, we have our lentils with vegetables. Looks like 2 very sizable amounts of food here. I mean, this is all meant, of course, for 24 hours. So I thought because there wasn't a whole lot of extras to go along with it, it didn't make much sense to make 2 videos to run through this. So we'll just we'll go through all the components now, and that'll be it. Just one video for the entire review. So let's take a little run around the table. First, let's try the lentils with vegetables. This was the The item in the entire ration that I was looking forward to the most. Like I said, I'm a fan of lentils, so be interesting to see how this translates. Remember, this is about 7 years old, so they're not supposed to last this long. But I guess we'll find out. As you can see, the sauce has got a little bit of a stickiness to it. When it pulls off, you can see the strings remain. But get a little look at this here, a little bit up close. There we go. Glistening. So let's give it a little smell first, and then a taste. Yeah, that smells perfectly fine, and it tastes perfectly fine. I'm not picking up a whole lot of, I guess, vegetable taste. I'm going to assume there's potatoes in here. That's what I would venture to guess, is these little slivers and cubes that you're seeing inside here. But it's got a nice tangy sauce to it. Not much spice, not particularly savory, just tangy, I guess is the best way to describe it. I don't know if it's meant to be tangy or just over time it's sort of turned that way. But this is a nice filling sort of meal. You're getting a good texture with the potatoes, and then the sort of contrast with the texture of the lentils. So it's for those people who are more texture-oriented sort of eaters, such as myself, it's actually a very pleasing sort of entree. It's very good. And even though I normally like my things a little spicy, I don't think I'm going to need to put the red pepper on this. It's tasty enough on its own. Like I said, it doesn't have any main discernible sort of spice or anything that you can pick up. Just overall, it's a fantastic taste. Now let's try out this beans and potatoes second entree we have here. As we can see, they're I guess red pinto beans is what it appears to be, and then cubes of potato in this sort of tomato type sauce. Let's get this little spoonful here, give you guys a look. There you go, nice bit of steam coming off of it. So let's give this a try, see how it's going. Now, surprisingly, after all this time, those beans have a wonderful consistency to them. They're not particularly hard, but not particularly soft either. The potato is the same way. It's the perfect texture for my liking. I don't know if others would like it the same way. The sauce has got a little tiny touch of spice to it. As you can see, there's maybe some green and red pepper in here. So yeah, let's give this another try. Once again, I think this is another entree that it tastes great on its own merit. I don't think it needs the ground red pepper. I usually find if I put ground red pepper on anything, I either put too little on and it doesn't really do a whole lot, or I put way too much on, and it just sort of drowns out the flavor of what I was eating, and I don't really enjoy it. So I can't really seem to find a happy medium when using ground red pepper. So we'll just forego using that completely. So we'll just have one more taste of this and then move on with the other components. So that's fantastic. Both of these are fantastic. This has a little bit, the beans and potatoes, has a little bit more of a spice to it compared to the lentils. This is a little bit more tangy, I guess is the best way to describe it. I know tangy isn't the greatest way to describe the flavor of something, but that's the best I can do right now. I can't really pick up anything else that would help describe that better. So let's just go around the rest of the table now and try everything else out. Let's try these raisins out first. As you can see, they're just sort of your standard dried raisins, but they have a wonderful sheen left to them. They haven't appeared to dry out. They appear to still have a fair amount of their moisture. So let's give it a try. Oh, okay, that was not good at all. Looks can be deceiving, I suppose, for something like raisins. They have a perfect texture, a perfect look. They smell just like raisins, but the minute you put that in your mouth and take a taste, yeah, just these have, as they say, gone off. They're not particularly good. So that's just one casualty, I think, of of this ration so far, for the fact that it's, 7 years old. Next, let's try out one of these fig bars, see what we're working with here. So as you can see, this has been flattened out a fair bit over time. Let's just see if that's not degraded the flavor in any way, shape, or form. And that was fantastic. These, even though they may not look the greatest, they taste just fine. They have a nice texture to them. The sweetness still comes through from the way they're supposed to taste when they're, brand new and fresh. So yeah, these are actually really good. I'm quite surprised. Next, let's just give our standard MRE cracker and peanut butter a try. Let's get a little close up there. These are just your standard MRE crackers. Sort of like unsalted saltines is the best way to describe them. And a creamy peanut butter. So that wasn't too bad. I think I was picking up a little bit of a strange aftertaste there. I don't know if it was the peanut butter or if it was the cracker. So in order to truly see what it is, let's just try a little bit of the cracker on its own. And see if I'm getting that strange aftertaste from these. Maybe they've, obviously started to go stale after 7 years. And of course I did say the smell was just starting to teeter on being a little bleachy. So that could be the culprit. So let's see. Yeah, that's it. The crackers have just started to go bad. So they're not horrible, but they're not great either. That's the best I can say about it. So yeah, that's that. Moving on to the final item, we've got ourselves an oatmeal cookie, and as I showed you before, this is an incredibly dense cookie. This is like the oatmeal cookie version of the special crackers from the Polish and Lithuanian rations. This thing, I'm sure it could stop a bullet if need be. So let's try to actually crack this open if we possibly could. There we go. Get a nice look at the cross section here. It's a very oaty looking oatmeal cookie. So let's just give it a taste and see how it's fared after 7 years. It's not bad. I hate to have to sort of say it that way. It's not bad, but it's not great either. The cookie itself is dense, but yet not quite moist or not quite dry either. That's the only way one can describe it. It's got a little bit of a crunch, but I don't know if it's meant to have that texture or if at some point this has just sort of been exposed to a little tiny bit of moisture, and that's how it's somewhat compromised. It's a pretty good taste. You're getting the sugar and the oats there really coming through well, and even a hint of molasses, even though I can't tell if the molasses is in the ingredients or not, but that's what I'm getting. I'm picking that up. So all in all, it's not too bad. So guys, this has been the menu number 5, Ameriqual Humanitarian Daily Ration, manufactured on the 130th day of 2010. So we've got a almost 7-year ration sitting in front of us. The majority of the items here have been fantastic. The raisins were a big miss, I guess is the best way to describe it. They've gone bad. They just really do not taste good at all, and I will not be having any more of them. The oatmeal cookies just sort of gone a little bit stale or been sort of exposed to a little bit of moisture. It tastes just fine, so I'm probably going to finish that off. The crackers are just starting to go stale. Just starting. But it's not that big of a deal. The fig bars, even though they may look like they're in pretty poor shape, taste fantastic, great texture. They're wonderful. And then the last thing to say is these 2 entrees are amazing. The slight spice here with the beans and the potatoes is fantastic, and then Really, to me, the best part of the entire ration is the lentils and vegetables. It's just got a wonderful texture, a great tang, and yeah, it's everything you want it to be, except for the fact there's no meat in anything here. But I'm sure you're still going to get a fair amount of protein with the other items in the ration. So, guys, that's been the menu number 5 HDR, which I got from good friend Old Smoky. I'd like to thank him once again. And that's it. So thanks for stopping by. Have a good one.